Welcome to Shadow of History, where we journey together into the mysterious, dark, and untold stories that have shaped our world. Today, we're unraveling a chilling chapter from World War II, a secret Nazi plan to bring terror and destruction to American soil. This is the story of Operation Pastorius, a plot so audacious that, had it succeeded, it could have changed the course of history. As the world reeled from the rapid advance of Nazi forces across Europe, Adolf Hitler and his inner circle looked for ways to strike at the heart of their enemies. By 1942, the United States had entered the war, bringing its vast industrial might to bear against the Axis powers. For Germany, cutting off this lifeline was crucial. And so, in the shadowy corridors of Nazi high command, a daring idea took shape. Infiltrate the United States, cripple its factories, sabotage its railways, and send a message of fear that would ripple through every American city and town. Operation Pastorius was born from desperation and ambition. The plan was simple in concept, but staggering in scope. Recruit German-speaking men, train them in the arts of sabotage and subterfuge, and then smuggle them across the Atlantic by submarine. Once in America, these agents would unleash chaos, targeting vital infrastructure and war industries that powered the Allied effort. The men chosen for this mission were not seasoned spies, but ordinary Germans who had lived in America before the war. They knew the language, the customs, and the geography. Led by George John Dosch, the team consisted of 8 agents: Dosch himself, Ernest Peter Berger, Heinrich Harm Heink, Richard Quirin, Edward Curling, Hermann Neubauer, Herbert Haupt, and Werner Thiel. Their selection was meticulous. Each had a unique connection to the United States, making them ideal for blending in and moving undetected. In a remote training camp outside Berlin, these men underwent a crash course in sabotage. They learned how to handle explosives, forge documents, and blend into American society. Their targets, carefully selected by German strategists, included the Hell Gate Bridge in New York, hydroelectric plants at Niagara Falls, the Pennsylvania Railroad, and several aluminum factories vital to aircraft production. Their orders were clear: act with precision, strike hard, and disappear without a trace. The journey to America was perilous. 2 German U-boats, U-202 and U-584, were assigned to deliver the saboteurs. In the dead of night, under the cover of darkness, the first team landed on the desolate sands of Amagansett, Long Island, on June 13, 1942. 4 nights later, the second group came ashore near Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Each man carried thousands of dollars in American currency, fake identification, and enough explosives to wreak havoc. Their arrival did not go unnoticed. On Long Island, a young Coast Guardsman named John Cullen stumbled upon Dosch and his team as they buried their supplies in the dunes. Thinking quickly, Dosch posed as a stranded fisherman and tried to bribe Cullen, but suspicion lingered. Cullen reported the encounter, and soon the FBI was on high alert. Yet, it wasn't just luck or vigilance that unraveled Operation Pastorius. Within days of landing, George Dosch, racked with doubt and a sense of impending doom, made a fateful decision. Boarding a train to Washington, D.C., he carried with him a suitcase full of evidence and a story that would change the course of the mission. In a hotel room, Dosch called the FBI, revealing the entire plot and offering himself up in exchange for leniency. The FBI, led by J. Edgar Hoover, sprang into action. With Dosch's detailed confession, agents fanned out across the country, tracking down the saboteurs before they could carry out a single act of sabotage. Within weeks, all 8 men were in custody. The American public, already on edge from news of the war, was gripped by fear and fascination as the details emerged. A Nazi plot, uncovered just in time, on their own shores. The legal aftermath was swift and severe. President Franklin D. Roosevelt ordered the men to be tried by a secret military tribunal, bypassing the civilian courts. In a tense and unprecedented trial, the saboteurs were found guilty of espionage and sabotage. 6 of the 8 were executed in the electric chair at the District of Columbia Jail, one of the largest mass executions in American history. Dosch and Berger, who whose cooperation had been instrumental in foiling the plot, were spared execution but spent years in prison before being deported to Germany. Operation Pastorius failed, not because of American counterintelligence or border security, but because of the conscience of one man. The plot's collapse sent shockwaves through Washington. In its wake, the United States overhauled its domestic security apparatus, expanded the powers of the FBI, and established new protocols for handling enemy agents. The threat of sabotage became a driving force behind the creation of agencies and legislation designed to protect the homeland, laying the groundwork for modern American counterintelligence. But the story of Operation Pastorius is more than just a tale of espionage and betrayal. It is a stark reminder of how close America came to being attacked from within during its darkest hour. It speaks to the vulnerabilities and strengths of a nation at war, and the unpredictable ways in which human conscience can shape the course of history. As we reflect on these events today, we're reminded that history's shadows often hide the most extraordinary stories. Stories of courage, treachery, and the razor-thin margin between disaster and salvation. Thank you for joining us on Shadow of History, where the secrets of the past come alive. If you enjoyed this journey into the clandestine wartime world of Operation Pastorius, don't forget to subscribe for more mysterious and untold stories from the depths of history. Until next time, stay curious and beware the shadows.